Once in a generation. That's what they said about LeBron. That's what they said about Giannis. But what if I told you the NBA just got someone they've never seen before in the entire history of the sport? This is the story of Victor Wembanyama.
I want to see the kid play. I hope he's great because it's great for our job. But I can't sit here now just because he's killing people over in the Czech Republic that he's going to come over here and dominate. I just don't believe it.
Victor Wembanyama, a name that was being whispered in basketball circles long before most casual fans had ever heard it. A name that made NBA scouts put down their clipboards and just watch. A name that made grown men, Hall of Famers, champions, legends sound like excited teenagers seeing their favorite player for the first time. And on June 22nd, 2023, that name became official. The San Antonio Spurs selected Victor Wembanyama with the first overall pick in the NBA draft, and the basketball world has not been the same since. But to understand why this moment felt so historic, you have to go back to where it all began. Victor Wembanyama was born on January 4th, 2004, in Le Chesnay, a quiet suburb just outside of Paris, France. From the very beginning, Victor was different. By the time he was a teenager, he was already standing at nearly 7 feet tall. But what separated him from every other tall kid on the planet was that he could move. He could dribble. He could shoot. He had court vision that belonged to a point guard, not a center. While most kids his age were still learning basic footwork, Victor was already developing a step-back three-pointer from well beyond the arc. He joined the academy of Pro B club JSF Nanterre at just 14 years old and quickly made it clear that the French league was not going to contain him for long. By 16, he was already competing against grown men. By 17, he was dominating them. He moved to Metropolitans 92, one of France's top clubs, and that's where the world truly began to take notice. In his final season in France, Wembanyama averaged over 21 points, 10 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks per game, numbers that belong to an MVP candidate in any professional league on earth. He was shooting over 45% from the field and over 30% from three, at 7'3". The efficiency was there. The production was there. And the highlight reel? The highlight reel was something from another dimension. Word spread fast. NBA executives, scouts, and legends began flying to France just to watch this kid play in person. And every single one of them came back with the same look on their face, disbelief. This wasn't just a tall player who could score. This was a player rewriting the rules of what a big man could be. Then came the Las Vegas showcase in 2023. The moment the entire NBA world got to see Wembanyama up close. He went head-to-head against Scoot Henderson, the second-best prospect in the draft, and Victor didn't just compete. He put on a show. Long-range threes, shot blocking, dribble pull-ups, and that effortless fluidity that makes defenders look completely helpless. The arena was electric. Phones were out. Jaws were on the floor. And after that night, the debate was officially over. Victor Wembanyama was going to be the #1 pick, and nobody was arguing otherwise. When the greatest players in NBA history start talking about a prospect in the same breath as the all-time greats, you listen. Dirk Nowitzki, one of the greatest European players to ever lace up, and a man who revolutionized the big man position himself, had this to say. You'd think you've seen it all, and then when Wembanyama comes around. A 7 feet 3 inches guy hitting step-backs from three and getting his own putback? Who does that? It's scary how talented this kid is. The skill level, the length, if he stays healthy, the sky is the limit. Coming from Dirk, a man who once did the exact same things to defenders for 21 seasons, that means everything. Basketball Hall of Famer Chris Mullin was equally blown away after watching him at the Vegas showcase. Victor Wembanyama is truly unique. We haven't seen the likes of him before. 3 blocks per game, a three-point shot, great vision inside and out. He's a combination of many players. There has never been a guy who plays like him. 3 blocks per game. From a player who can also pull up from half court. Think about that for a second. Kevin Garnett, one of the most intense competitors and basketball minds the sport has ever produced, placed Wembanyama in rare company. Jokić wasn't this polished at this age. Giannis wasn't either. This kid fits right into the narrative of all-time greatness, and he's already there as a prospect. When KG tells you that you're ahead of where both the reigning MVP and a two-time MVP were at your age, that's not hype. That's history. Isaiah Thomas, ahead of draft night, kept it simple and said what everyone was thinking. Victor Wembanyama is going to change the face of the NBA. Finger rolls, step backs, dunks at 7 feet, 3 inches. Let it be known. Tim Hardaway Sr. backed it up with a bold rookie season prediction. This kid is going to a great organization with a great culture. If he comes out averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 or 6 assists, that would be a solid rookie season for a prospect this good. And believe me, he's going to be just fine with San Antonio. 20, 10, and 6. As a rookie. From a 19-year-old in his first NBA season. Bold, but nobody laughed.
But not everyone was ready to crown him just yet. And honestly, that's fair. Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant big man in NBA history, pumped the brakes. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can do all that. But I want to see him play a full NBA game. A lot of guys come over with big hype. Some deliver, some don't. He's not very strong yet. I haven't seen a lot of post moves. I'm staying on the skeptical side for now. Shaq has seen enough overhyped prospects flame out to no better than to hand out crowns early. That's wisdom, not hate. Charles Barkley was even more direct. Just because you're getting all this hype, and you've been dominating in France, that means nothing when you step on an NBA court. The Spurs aren't close to winning a championship. Young fella, y'all probably won't even make the playoffs next year. Chuck isn't wrong about the timeline. Building a championship contender takes years, even with a generational talent. The Spurs know that better than anyone, and Reggie Miller voiced the concern that lives quietly in the back of every fan's mind. My only concern is his frame. He looks so long and lean. I just pray he stays healthy. If he does, and plays the way the scouting reports say, the future is completely his. Health. That one word. The only thing standing between Victor Wembanyama and basketball immortality. But here's what makes this story even more special. It's not just about the player. It's about where he landed. The San Antonio Spurs are not just any franchise. Under coach Greg Popovich, they built one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. 5 championships, 4 with Tim Duncan, and a culture of excellence that has developed legends for over 2 decades. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, players who came in raw and left as Hall of Famers, and Tony Parker, the greatest French NBA player before Wembanyama, sees this moment as nothing short of destiny. He wanted to come to San Antonio. It feels like destiny with the French connection we built over the years. A 7 feet 3 inches player who can shoot and dribble like that, it's just different. He doesn't fear pressure. He's in very good hands. From one French Spur to the next, the legacy continues. Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero himself, went even further, declaring Wembanyama a star before he even played a single NBA game, while only naming 2 players in the entire league who could genuinely give him problems. He's going to be a star. He's like Kevin Durant, but at 7 feet. The only 2 centers he needs to worry about are Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokić. 2 players out of 450 NBA players. That's the level of respect Victor Wembanyama commands before playing a single regular season game. Victor Wembanyama stands at the doorstep of NBA history with everything a franchise could dream of: the size, the skill, the shooting, the defense, the court vision, the work ethic, and the mindset of someone who was born to be great. He arrives in an organization built to develop exactly this kind of talent, guided by one of the greatest coaching minds the sport has ever seen. The skeptics are right that he has to prove it on the NBA floor. Nobody earns greatness on hype alone. But the believers, and there are many, and they are legends, see something that transcends the ordinary conversation about prospects and potential. They see a player who doesn't just fit into the history of the game. They see a player who could rewrite it. The Spurs gave us Robinson. They gave us Duncan. They gave us Parker. Now they give us Wembanyama. The next chapter of NBA history has officially begun. And the only question left, the one that will keep basketball fans up at night for the next decade: just how great can Victor Wembanyama become? The world is watching, and it's only just